Hey guys, I've been watching lots of readings on Matthew Perry, so I decided to do my own. I am using the Pam's Vintage Tarot Bridge size cards. This I believe was from Make Playing Cards. So these are playing cards sized tarot cards, which is fabulous. They've aged the box. It's by Real. Lucky Card 2018. So I have these a few years. Beautiful little deck. So there's the backs of the cards. So it's the original image, but it's just made to look old. It's interesting. I've heard all sorts of theories, and my cards totally relate to what other people have said. I've them pulled already, and I was just kind of laying them out and thinking about them, and I like to kind of gather my thoughts before I do the reading. So first of all, the very first card, the Moon card. Now the Moon card is about darkness, it's about deceit, it's about illusions, things that are hidden in that darkness. So it makes perfect sense. And I was actually only told this morning by a friend of mine in a text that he was apparently putting together a book about the P words, let's just say, in Hollywood. So that would make perfect sense. We have the 10. Do you know what? What's the 8? I actually was thinking of the 9 of Swords when I saw this card, funnily enough. Because what I got was that, like, he was having sleepless nights with all the stuff he had in his mind, all the shit he knew that he wanted to get out there into the public eye. He couldn't cope anymore. It was just too much for him. It got to him, which would make sense as to why he was trying to kind of get the information out there. But I actually was thinking of this as the 9 of Swords for some reason. It's the 10 of Swords, so this could be him being bumped off, of course. Because what I was thinking when I saw this card was that he knew about all these illusions, all this shit that was going on in Hollywood, and he was having sleepless nights with the thoughts of it all, and wanted to kind of get it all off his chest, so to speak. And then we had the Sun card, which said to me that he wanted to shed light on what was really going on, do you know? So that's the Sun card. And then we had the Four of Cups. So this would suggest to me that he went to someone with this information. So there he is offering over the information, but this person was not receptive at all to what he was trying to convey to them about what was going on, you know. And they decided to shut him up. They decided to keep him quiet, quite simply. Which would tie in, of course, with that this could be construed as a death card, because the person is obviously dead on the ground with the 10 swords. So yeah. And then we had the Temperance card, right? Now I pulled this in the Madeleine McCann reading, and I got in the Madeleine McCann reading that it was that they had mixed medicines to keep the kids asleep longer. In this case, it would just be poison in general, because realistically, he was a grown man with a massive jacuzzi in his own place. It's not like I would, you know, I'm not a swimmer, I don't do water, but you'd imagine a grown man with his own jacuzzi could not have an accidental drowning. He was off the drugs and the alcohol and everything. So yes, obviously they're going to try and make it out to be that he took an overdose and had an accidental drowning and that whatnot, and my other cards showed that. But numerous people have said that they believe that he was poisoned, and this is I can never remember who this archangel is actually meant to be, but it does look like a female archangel. And for anyone who doesn't know, Matthew's PA, who was a very good looking young woman, a good bit younger than him, was actually apparently entertainment purposes only, blah blah blah, YouTube, was his best friend and actually living with him. So I would see that as her maybe poisoning him, putting something in his drink. Here we have the Seven of Swords. Now, people see the Seven of Swords as this guy trying to rob these swords. In this case, I would see it as he had decided to get his shit together and try and get away from all this crap. To relay the information to someone and to get out. And remind me to tell you about his Instagram page in a minute. But the Emperor card would suggest that there was someone in a very high power who wasn't going to let him get away with. And of course, look, being under the Ten of Swords as well. There was someone who decided it was time for him to go. And we have the Two of Swords. Now, this is normally seen as someone stuck in trying to make a decision, but in this case, I would see it as they decided to blindfold him. They decided to end any thoughts he had of trying to come forward with information they couldn't have out there. I would see these two as Matthew and the PA, and he thought it was them against the world, and he knew. Normally I would say with this card that these two need to realise that there is help available because the lights are on in this church, for example. But again, in Matthew's case, I would see it as he thought it was him and her against the world. But she had other thoughts. She was happy to leave all the emotional stuff behind, to leave their relationship behind and go for what she wanted, you know. And then, last card, in charged someone to do the dirty deed, do what needed to be done. Well, like I said, it was probably her. But she came, I think it was probably her. I mean, she was living in his house and he would have been fully trusting her more than likely. Now, I did pull some of my Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle as well. So we have timeline. So I would see some timeline issue here. So do you know what, actually, right now I'm going to put a photograph up on the community tab, so keep an eye on it. Someone in a comment on one of his Instagram posts laid out the details of his last 7 posts. In the book he wrote, he apparently said, I haven't read it, so I say apparently, said that if he was in need of help, he would send out the bat signal. Okay? Now, he would have said that because this information I got this morning about him writing about the ring of P words in Hollywood, he would have known that there would have been repercussions to come. So he would have said it in his book then that if he needed help, he'd put out the bat signals. So starting on October 17th, apparently he hadn't put anything on Instagram for a good 6 months. And then on the 17th of October, he started with the signals for help. And people were even commenting, oh my God, we know you said this in your book. Do you need help? We're worried about you and all that. And of course he wasn't replying to anyone. But it was just from the 17th up to a couple of days before he died. There was 7 different signals. So if you look at his timeline of events on Instagram, I believe that it was the thoughts there. Distraction would suggest that all this is a distraction for something else. I'm just going to put them under there now so they'll fit. Friends and associates. So people who knew him well, of course, were involved. It's always the way with any of these kind of cases anyway. Beach would suggest to me just the fact that it was in his jacuzzi that he would have felt like he was at the beach, do you know? They're trying to make it look like a suicide. And what an amazing card to come up, drugs or overdose. He was clean for quite a while, but of course they're going to try and suggest that he took an overdose, got in his hot tub and committed suicide. And then we also had the drowning card. Now these were cards that fell out, some of them. We had the drowning card. We have breaking and entering. Now, if she was living there, she wouldn't have been breaking and entering, but this would just suggest that something untoward went on, you know. And I also got the mother card. Now, this to me would suggest a good-looking young woman. What the mother bit has to do with it, I don't know. Maybe they were more than friends, and maybe she was pregnant, and who knows. But I just wanted to show you the cards I pulled so far. I'll probably do another reading and ask some particular questions if we start getting more information about it, but they were just the initial cards I pulled. But there was a big suggestion that it's not suicide. I wouldn't have thought it was anyway. But of course, how does a grown man with a what did I say? Jacuzzi have an accidental drowning? Or, you know, but they're going to make it out to be a suicide, but it's a drug overdose and a suicide. So yeah, that's what I got, peeps. Let me know what you think. I will do more readings, and I'll you know, make it part 2, and then we'll see what happens after that. Actually, if anyone has any particular questions, maybe if you can put them in the comments, and then I can incorporate them into the next reading, you know. So let me know what you think, guys. Thanks a million. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.